The crystal pulsed violently, and from within its core, shapes began to emerge. These weren't the chaotic energy beings from before. These were precise, calculated, almost mechanical in their movements. They surrounded the heroes in seconds, cutting off escape routes and testing their defenses with surgical precision. Wolverine didn't hesitate. He moved through the formation like a shadow, slicing through crystalline limbs and redirecting attacks before they could land on his teammates. Superman engaged the largest of the beings. His strength matched against an entity that seemed to absorb and redirect his power. Wonder Woman fought with precision, her blade cutting through energy constructs, while her shield deflected devastating blasts. But it was Wolverine who noticed the pattern. The beings weren't attacking randomly. They were protecting something deeper within the crystal structure, something that pulsed with a rhythm different from the rest. "There's a core," Wolverine shouted over the chaos. "We take that out, we end this." He didn't wait for confirmation. His body moved on instinct, weaving through attacks, taking hits that would have killed anyone else, and pushing forward with relentless determination. His healing factor worked overtime, repairing damage almost as fast as it occurred. Pain was just noise to him now, background static in the symphony of battle. Back at the X-Men headquarters, the team watched through satellite feeds. Storm's eyes widened as she observed Wolverine's movements. "He's going to get himself killed," she whispered. But Jean Grey shook her head slowly. "No, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's buying them time." Cyclops clenched his fists but said nothing. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut, but beneath it was something else, grudging respect. Wolverine reached the inner chamber of the crystalline structure. The core was massive, a swirling vortex of pure energy that hummed with power beyond comprehension. Surrounding it were defensive constructs, each one more dangerous than the last. He analyzed the situation in milliseconds. Brute force wouldn't work here. He needed precision, timing, and a willingness to sacrifice everything. He communicated his plan to Superman and Wonder Woman through their earpieces. "Distract the outer defenses. Give me 60 seconds." Superman hesitated, recognizing the risk in Wolverine's voice. "Are you sure about this?" Wolverine's response was immediate. "I've never been more sure of anything." With that, the assault began. Superman and Wonder Woman unleashed everything they had. Energy blasts, physical attacks, and strategic diversions drew the defensive constructs away from the core. Wolverine used every second, moving with precision that bordered on supernatural. His claws found weak points in the energy matrix, disrupting connections and destabilizing the structure from within. The core began to flicker, its rhythm faltering. The final strike was surgical. Wolverine plunged his claws directly into the heart of the vortex, channeling every ounce of his strength and willpower into a single devastating blow. The energy screamed, literally screamed, as it collapsed inward. For a moment, everything went white. The explosion that followed could be seen from space, a brilliant flash that signaled the end of the threat. When the light faded, Wolverine lay motionless in the snow, his body broken but already healing. Superman landed beside him, concern etched across his face. Wonder Woman followed, her expression a mixture of awe and respect. "He did it," she said quietly. "He actually did it." Wolverine's eyes flickered open, and despite everything, he managed a slight smirk. "Told you I had it." The journey back was quieter. News of the victory spread rapidly, and the world celebrated once again. Social media exploded with praise. Analysts dissected every moment of the battle, and fans everywhere hailed Wolverine as the hero of the hour. But the man himself remained silent, contemplating what had happened and what was yet to come. When he finally returned to the X-Men, the reception was different than he expected. Cyclops met him at the entrance, arms crossed but expression softened. "You could have told us," he said. Wolverine nodded slowly. "I know, but some things you just have to do." Jean Grey stepped forward, her eyes glistening slightly. "We were wrong to doubt you. What you did out there, it was beyond anything we imagined." Storm simply placed a hand on his shoulder, a gesture that spoke volumes without words. The reconciliation wasn't instant, but it was genuine. Trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild, but the foundation had been laid. Wolverine had proven that his choices, though unconventional, came from a place of courage and conviction. The X-Men and the Justice League had learned to work together, and in doing so, had become stronger than either team alone. As the dust settled, Wolverine found himself standing on a rooftop, looking out over the city he had helped save multiple times. The world was calm for now, but he knew better than to believe it would last. Somewhere out there, new threats were forming, new enemies were plotting, and new challenges awaited. But for the first time in a long while, he felt something resembling peace. He had done what was necessary, faced impossible odds, and emerged victorious. The story of Wolverine's journey had inspired millions. It showed that heroism isn't about following rules or staying within boundaries. It's about doing what's right when it matters most. It's about courage in the face of fear, action in the face of doubt, and sacrifice when everything is on the line. And as the sun set over the horizon, casting long shadows across the city, Wolverine knew that whatever came next, he would be ready. Heroes rise not because they seek glory, but because the world needs them. And in that moment, standing between two legendary teams, bridging worlds that had never connected before, Wolverine had become something more than a mutant, more than a fighter. He had become a symbol of what it means to truly lead, to truly protect, and to truly believe in something greater than oneself. The shadows moved before Wolverine could process what he was seeing. Energy creatures materialized from the darkness, faster and more coordinated than anything they had encountered before. His claws extended instinctively as he launched himself between the constructs and his teammates, slicing through crackling limbs while shouting coordinates to Superman and Wonder Woman. They moved as one unit now, trust forged in the heat of previous battles. At the X-Men headquarters, three figures watched in silence. Cyclops gripped the console until his knuckles whitened. Jean Grey leaned forward, her eyes tracking every calculated movement Wolverine made. Storm stood motionless, arms crossed, but her expression had shifted from anger to something closer to wonder. He wasn't just surviving out there, he was commanding legends. The creatures merged without warning, their individual forms collapsing into a towering storm of pure destructive energy. Wolverine felt the temperature drop as the entity drew power from everything around it. One wrong move and the Arctic would crack open, triggering catastrophes across the globe. He didn't have time for doubt. He pointed Superman toward the entity's outer defenses and directed Wonder Woman to anchor its base with her lasso. Then he ran directly toward the heart of the storm. Energy tore at his flesh, healing and burning in an endless cycle of agony. He pushed through, his senses locked onto the pulsing core buried within the chaos. Superman's heat vision carved a path, while Wonder Woman's strength held the creature in place just long enough. Wolverine plunged his claws into the core and twisted. The scream that followed wasn't human, wasn't animal, wasn't anything that belonged in this world. Then silence. He collapsed into the snow, steam rising from his regenerating body. Superman landed beside him, extending a hand. Wonder Woman's eyes held respect that hadn't been there before. Wolverine accepted the help, standing on unsteady legs while the Arctic wind howled around them. The sensors confirmed what his instincts already knew. The threat was neutralized. For now, the X-Men watched the feed cut to static, then returned to show three heroes standing victorious against an impossible sky. Cyclops exhaled slowly. Jean Grey wiped her eyes. Storm finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. He never stopped being one of us. He just became something more. But Wolverine felt no triumph as they flew back towards civilization. The entity had shown intelligence, adaptation, purpose. Something was orchestrating these attacks, testing their responses, learning their weaknesses. He stared out at the clouds below, his mind already racing through possibilities and countermeasures. Rest would have to wait. Understanding would have to come first. The world celebrated that night. News broadcasts replayed footage of the battle, analysts debated tactics, and millions shared their amazement across every platform imaginable. Wolverine ignored it all, sequestered in the Justice League strategy room, cross-referencing energy signatures with global anomaly reports. Batman found him there hours later, surrounded by holographic displays and empty coffee cups. Neither spoke. They didn't need to. Both understood that victory was just a pause between storms. Morning brought confirmation of his fears. New readings emerged from an urban center thousands of miles away, smaller, but unmistakably connected to the Arctic entity. Wolverine assembled the team before anyone else had finished breakfast. They arrived to find streets warped by fluctuating energy, buildings shimmering like mirages, and civilians already evacuated thanks to early warning systems he had helped design. Preparation mattered. Foresight saved lives. The constructs that emerged were different this time, moving with tactical precision that suggested genuine intelligence rather than instinct. Wolverine adapted instantly, his decades of combat experience translating into split-second decisions that kept everyone alive. He directed traffic like a conductor leading an orchestra of destruction, each hero playing their part in a symphony of controlled chaos. Superman provided the power. Wonder Woman provided the precision. Wolverine provided the vision. When the constructs merged again, he was ready. He had studied the patterns, anticipated the evolution, and prepared countermeasures that exploited weaknesses the enemy didn't know it had. The final strike came faster this time, cleaner, more decisive. The entity shattered before it could reach full power, its fragments dissolving into harmless light that drifted upward like snow falling in reverse. Exhaustion hit him like a physical weight, but he remained standing. Superman offered a nod of acknowledgement. Wonder Woman clasped his shoulder briefly. These small gestures meant more than any public praise or trending hashtag. They meant trust. They meant family. They meant he had finally found his place between two worlds. The X-Men reached out that evening, a video call that Cyclops initiated with visible reluctance. Jean Grey did most of the talking, her words careful but genuine. Storm added quiet observations. Even Cyclops eventually admitted what everyone already knew. Wolverine had done what none of them could have done alone. His choices had been right, even when they felt like betrayal. Understanding didn't erase the hurt, but it opened doors that had been slammed shut. Wolverine accepted their words without fanfare. He had never sought their approval, only their safety. The conversation ended with tentative plans for future coordination, a bridge built from respect rather than obligation. When the screen went dark, he sat alone for a long time, processing everything that had changed and everything that remained the same. The city outside his window hummed with life, oblivious to how close it had come to annihilation. Children played in parks. Families shared meals. Lovers walked hand in hand through streets that had trembled with destruction just hours before. This was why he fought. This was why he would always fight. Not for glory or recognition, but for the simple miracle of ordinary life continuing undisturbed. He knew more challenges would come. The intelligence behind the energy attacks remained hidden, patient, learning. But Wolverine had learned too. He had discovered that courage wasn't about standing alone against impossible odds. It was about knowing when to reach across boundaries, when to trust others with your life, and when to act decisively regardless of what anyone thought. The night deepened around him, stars emerging one by one above the city lights. Somewhere out there, threats were gathering. Somewhere out there, people needed protection. And somewhere between the Justice League and the X-Men, between two worlds that had never truly connected before, Wolverine had carved out a space that belonged only to him. He would be ready when the next storm came. He would lead, protect, and sacrifice as he always had. But now he wouldn't do it alone. Now he had allies who understood his methods, teammates who trusted his judgment, and a legacy that would inspire others long after this chapter ended. Heroes rise when the world needs them most. Wolverine had risen higher than anyone expected, and he had no intention of coming down. The story was far from over, but the foundation had been laid. Whatever came next, he would face it with the same determination, skill, and unwavering courage that had defined every battle before. And in the quiet moments between crises, when the world slept peacefully under skies he had helped protect, Wolverine allowed himself something rare. A moment of peace, a breath of satisfaction, the knowledge that he had done what was right, even when it cost him everything familiar. That was enough. That had always been enough.